Yes, boom. All right, we are officially live and recording. But shout out to those of you guys that are tapped in. We got Manitoba in the building, Calgary, Jamaica, Nebraska. We got France in the house, Vegas. Amazing, amazing, amazing. What's good, everybody? What's good? If you're seeing this on the recording, shout out to you for taking the time to show up and watch this recording. For those of you guys that are here live, shout out to you guys for making the decision to show up on a Friday night when you could literally be doing anything, and you showed up for yourself. You showed up for your success, and I'm proud of y'all for making the decision to be here. And so, what we're going to be talking about tonight is a couple different things. Number one, we're going to do a quick recap of some of what we talked about over the course of this week. And we're also going to be closing this thing out with a very special opportunity. This is kind of like the graduation session. Now, obviously, when you think about school and graduation, whether it's high school, university, whatever, a lot of people think of that as like the end. Oh, it's the end of schooling. It's the end of my learning. And the reality is, it shouldn't be the end of your learning. It's actually the commencement, the start of something exciting, the next chapter of your journey. And so for this call, this is not the end. This is the beginning. You guys, for a lot of you, have been tapped in for the course of a week and are excited to continue paving the way forward, making progress in leaving this boot camp. So look at this as not the end, but really the beginning. And of course, we're going to be sharing some exciting things and how you can continue to move forward on this call after today. But a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. First things first is a quick little recap of this week. So for those of you that were here in attendance for all 5 or 4 days, today's day 5. Monday, we talked about some of the basics of trading. We talked about risk to reward. We talked about how to read a chart. We talked about really some of the different ways that you can plan and strategize in your trading or investing journey to set up the rules so that you are winning and profitable despite perhaps losing more trades than you are winning. And that was a really powerful, powerful concept. Just the ability and the idea that you can make money both ways. Doesn't matter if the market's going up or going down, you can make money both ways. And you really have the control and the power of risk to reward, exactly what you're looking to risk on a trade and exactly what you're looking to make on a trade. Now, Tuesday, day 2, we talked about pips. We talked about, actually, I think this was more so day 3, or yeah, I guess it would have been, hold on, let me actually pull up the, so I have the actual curriculum here for what we did this week. So let me actually pull this up. Day 2, I know we talked about taking trades more formally and trade ideas specifically. I believe we talked about pips and lot sizes. I'm just about to pull this up here to confirm. Yeah, that's what we talked about. So executing trades, pips, lot sizes, how to understand and take a trade idea is something we talked about on Tuesday. And of course, there were opportunities and examples that were given on that session. And I believe there was a couple that we even placed as demonstration on that Tuesday, kind of day 2 training. Now, day 3, I said it before, and I'm going to reaffirm it once again. That was my favorite day this week, to be honest. The scanner training was super cool yesterday, and it's looking for a lot of the concepts that we talked about on the day 3 of the Bootcamp Wednesdays Bootcamp day. We talked about how and why the markets move the way that they do from an institutional perspective, trading like the banks, trading and understanding how these major institutions, which are ultimately control the market, how they are participating in the market. And that was something that I think was very paradigm shifting for a lot of you, whether you're seeing this live or in the recording. That was probably one of the most transformational perspective shifting calls of this week. Okay. They've all been really good days. We've had a lot of fun on these calls. I've had a lot of fun on these calls. Maybe you have. And of course, day 3 was my favorite personally. Yesterday, day 4, super cool. We talked about an AI scanner specifically set up and structured to identify opportunities for you in the market, giving you the exact entry and exit parameters. And I want to talk about NZD real quick because for those of you guys that weren't here live yesterday, it pays to show up. We actually took a trade together live on the session that ended up playing out and reaching a 1-to-2 risk to reward ratio target. So if you risked $5 on the trade, you would have made $10 on that particular trade. And it was a great setup. It was a great trade, a great setup. We shared it in the Telegram channel as well. And I want to show you guys the before and after screenshots from this trade. And who, just out of curiosity, drop me in the chat if you actually participated in that trade idea that we gave out yesterday on the call. And if you didn't get an opportunity to, and you're like kicking yourself, you're like, man, I should have been on the call. Oh, I missed it in the chat. I don't know. I didn't get to take that trade. If it was a winning trade, you're kind of feeling a certain type of way. Well, guess what? It's all good. There's more trades. The market is very opportune. There are constantly opportunities that you can take action on in the markets. It's just a matter of understanding what to look for. And so this was the before and after screenshots. I'm going to pull this up for you guys so you can kind of get an idea of what we were looking for on yesterday's session, just for those of you guys that maybe missed it. But this was the trade and the idea that we discussed on the session. So this was the before. Okay, market in real time when we were on the session yesterday was around here. This is where the price was trading. We were anticipating price to trade up to our POI, also known as point of interest or entry price. And we were anticipating price to then continue trading lower on NZD/USD. Now, there's a bunch of different targets that were given on yesterday's session. And this, by the way, this is AI. I didn't even come up with this trade, right? An AI scanner came up with this trade. We looked at it yesterday and decided to participate in that setup because it met all the criteria that I was looking for personally. So that was the before screenshot. Okay, I'm seeing a bunch of people participate in that trade. Love to see it. All right, this is the after screenshot. Now, this is why sometimes people say to me, Donnie, how is it that you have a crystal ball? How is it that you have this ability to look at a chart and say with such confidence, this is where price is going, this is where we're going to bounce and react from, and then it does. How is it that you've developed that skill? And it is a skill. It doesn't require a crystal ball, okay? Crystal ball sold separately and not necessary for the skill of trading. But notice how price developed from this candle where we initially saw that before screenshot. Price trades up right to our entry area. We chop around in this area for a little bit, about 2 hours. We then get the move to our second take profit. We actually wicked through the 1-to-2 risk to reward ratio area that we were mainly looking to target. We actually came just shy of these lows. That's ultimately what we were targeting on this trade. But I did send out a message and an update saying to close the trade before market closed earlier today at 5 p.m. Eastern, just to secure the bag. This is practically a 1-to-2 risk to reward ratio setup. And so you would have already made twice on your money or just shy of twice as much of what you were risking on that particular trade. So good trade, shared live. And yeah, we love to see it. We love to see it. The waiting room is not open, Sam. So if you have somebody that's not, you know, maybe on the right link, it might say waiting for host to start the meeting, but there is no waiting room. The waiting room is closed. So people are just automatically being let into the meeting. But yeah, so that was a nice little highlight. Shout out to those of you guys that took action on that trade with NZD/USD. Congrats. And of course, that's just a taste of what we're looking for in terms of opportunities on a regular basis inside of our community. And so first things first, I want to congratulate you guys for making the decision to be here, for making the decision to go about, taking this week seriously. Because I'll be honest, there are people that didn't stick it out for the entire week. There was the most participants on day one. And I want to give you guys a success principle, a little lesson here. Most people will show up for themselves one day in a week. But then fewer people show up on day two. Fewer people even still show up on day three. And you better believe 5 days into the boot camp, even fewer are here. Success leaves clues. There's a reason why the vast majority of people don't have Lamborghinis, don't have Ferraris, aren't making $10,000 a month or more, aren't in a position where they have true financial stability and independence to be able to travel the world, do what they want, when they want, with who they want, because time and money isn't an issue. Most people sell themselves short. You guys that are here on this call are deserving of the success that you're aspiring and working towards. But you have to do the right things long enough consistently. Now, of course, we have recordings, so people are watching the recordings. Maybe they're like, Donnie, I wasn't on any of the sessions live, but I watched all the recordings. Great. That's amazing. There's nothing wrong with that. But think about that. You set the time aside to do this. That already, you showing up for yourself. This isn't for me. You guys think I did this boot camp for me? No, I know this stuff. I've been doing this for almost 7.5 years. I know all this stuff. This doesn't make a difference to me. Now, I love to do what I'm doing right now. Don't get me wrong. I feel out good. You know what I mean? After these calls, it's fulfilling. It feels good to get all this, this feedback and these compliments after the sessions. Don't get me wrong. But you and showing up for yourself and you making the decision, leaving this call to continue learning the skill of trading, to continue putting in the reps, that's what it's all about. That's where the rubber really meets the road. So today, the kind of topic of today, we did a little bit of a recap. All right. That was the first thing I wanted to touch on. But really, today is all about graduation. All right. And graduation, what I mean by that is it's the end of something cool, something special, something unique. First thing it's the first time we've ever done something like this, for the record. And to have given and delivered a 5-day boot camp and free trial with trade ideas, education, opportunities to jump on a Zoom call with a group of people. I mean, this is a unique opportunity, and congratulations for making the decision. Those of you that have and are right now and being on this call, shout out to you for making the decision to be a part of this. And today you get to graduate and move forward into the next chapter in your journey. Now, again, this is not where the learning stops. This is where the learning really begins. And you have options leaving this boot camp. Option number one, if you're taking notes, these are some things to consider leaving this boot camp. Okay. You guys ready? Who's got a pen and paper? Okay. We're on day 5, graduation. You're like, what? I thought I was graduating. You're telling me that I got to have my pen and paper ready? Yeah, man, of course. There's a different type of graduation. Okay. Who's got a pen and paper? Drop a one in the chat. Come on. Okay. I'm seeing some ones in the chat. Don't get dry on me, ladies and gentlemen. It's Friday night. I know some of y'all are eager and getting ready to go out to the club or do this, do that, whatever. Lock in with me for the next 40 minutes. Okay? Lock in with me. There we go. We're seeing a bunch of ones. Digital pen, digital paper. That's all right. Physical's better. You'll remember and retain more information, but at the very least, you're taking notes. We like to see it. So, number one, first thing to consider leaving this call, you got to ask yourself a question. Okay? This is, you know how like when you go to a gym, sometimes you get like an opportunity to try out the gym for a day or two for free. And you're like, yeah, this seems like a cool vibe. They got a nice little hot tub. They got the sauna, the steam room, or they don't. And you're like, okay, well, it'd be nice to have those things. Let me check out a different gym. You've kind of had an opportunity to give the markets a free trial this week. You know, you got an opportunity to experience them. If you really made the most of this week, that was the opportunity that you had. What gym has a hot tub? Yeah, I mean, you got to go to them bougie gyms, I guess. I don't know. Some of them don't have them here in Ontario. A lot of them actually don't have them here, but my particular gym that I'm going to does. It's called Movati. It's a good gym. But the point is, you get an opportunity to kind of experience trading. So you should be able to make a decision leaving this call of whether or not you want to continue learning the skill. So that's the first thing you're going to want to consider leaving this call is, do you actually want to do this? Because I'll be honest, this is not for everybody. Trading is not for everybody. I personally can't imagine why anybody wouldn't want to make money from their phone. Personally, that's just me. But trading is an acquired taste, it's an acquired skill. And that's why we teach more than just trading. This week was specifically a trading boot camp. We have e-commerce, all kinds of different things that we work with inside the community, lots of money-making opportunities. But the first thing you need to ask yourself is, am I dedicated to learning the skill? Am I going to make the decision? Okay, success is a decision away. Am I going to make the decision to stick with this, leaving this call? It's kind of like you're at the gym, you got the free trial. You're like, all right, am I going to make the decision to buy this membership at the gym and go to the gym? That's what you got to ask yourself after you get the free trial at the gym, right? So it's the same thing here. Are you going to make the decision to continue trading? If the answer is yes, and you already know this answer, type yes in the chat if that's you. Now, if you want to take more time leaving this call to weigh out your options and see if this is for you or not, of course, right? Trading's not for everybody. So you got to ask yourself that question, and you have to find a decision. You have to make a decision quickly. Okay, because 5 days, should be enough time for you to really see, okay, this is an opportunity, this is something I want to pursue. And if it is, you can type yes in the chat if that's you. So I'm seeing lots of yeses. So I love to see it. Amazing. The second thing, is you got to ask yourself, okay, where am I going to enroll for my next step in my education? Remember in school, traditional school, we're going to, primary school. For me, I had like three different schools before even university. It was primary school, middle school, and then high school. And it's funny, I go to Quebec quite frequently, and we talk a lot. The friends that I have there, we talk a lot about the differences in schooling and how they call it like CEGEP and all these different things. And schools like different everywhere. So maybe you don't even have, primary school, middle school, high school, whatever. But think about when you did graduate in school, then you had to decide, okay, where do I want to go for my next school? At college, university, you got to decide where you want to enroll to learn. So that's really the second thing you need to consider leaving this call. And there's a number of different options of where you can go to continue learning. And I'm going to lay them out very simply and very plainly for you guys, and you can obviously make your own decisions. Okay, decision number one, or kind of option number one, is YouTube University. I mean, there is a ton of information on YouTube on all kinds of different styles of trading, different concepts, different things that you can explore. And that's really where I started personally back in 2018. But I'll be honest, it was also one of the reasons why it took me so long to find any sort of results because I couldn't really discern or find the right person to listen to. I felt like there was a lot of conflicting material, this person saying my strategy is the way, and then this person saying don't use those strategies, use my strategy. And it's like all these different things. And it's also hard to tell like who actually has results because you can have an educator who's, or not an educator, but just a person who's making content on YouTube and you don't really know, like you're not really knowing whether or not they have the results. Because there's random people that can learn a concept like support and resistance and trading and teach it on YouTube. But if they're not making money trading the style that they're teaching, I mean, does it make sense to listen to them? So that was something that I felt was a little bit challenging, but there's still great information there. So that's one option you have. And again, the first question is this something I want to do? Yes or no? Trading. Answer that question. Perfect. If yes, question number two is where do you want to enroll to continue your learning? Because graduation does not mean you stop learning. Graduation is when you start really going forward in a way that makes sense in your learning process. So decide for yourself, where do you want to enlist? First option or a option? Okay, there's many options. I'm going to give you guys three on this call. First option is YouTube University. If we look at the pros and cons, one thing you can consider as a pro is that it's free. The one thing that I would look at as a little bit challenging is it's hard to really know that you're learning the right information. And if you look up day trading strategies and this and that, and it's very overwhelming. You will have a difficult time, the same way I did, in trying to figure out who do I listen to. Yeah, little side note, write this down in your notes. The first principle of success is who you listen to. And there's two criteria that you want to write down in your notes for who to listen to. Okay, so take this with you when you leave this call to decide, okay, and define who should I listen to. The first criteria is you want to listen to somebody who has what you want. Write that down in your notes. Listen to somebody who has what you want. That's the first criteria. Because let's be honest, like if I'm listening to mom and dad giving me their opinion on trading and they've never traded before and they're telling me you shouldn't trade, they don't have what I want. Respectfully, I'm not going to take my mom or dad's opinion because opinions aren't final. I'm looking for facts. I'm looking for figures. I'm looking to listen to somebody who actually has experience trading and investing. I want to look to somebody that actually has results, somebody that actually has experience. So that's the first criteria. So who do you listen to? First thing, someone who has what you want is the first thing and has been where you are. That's the second part of the first criteria. Someone who has what you want and has been where you are. You're just starting out, you're fresh, you're kind of newer, right? The Actually, that is the second part. Has what you want, has been where you are. That's the second criteria of who do you listen to. Okay, someone who has what you want, second part, and has been where you are. All right, that's really the two components of who do you listen to. All right, so think about that when you leave today's call is how can I decide who I want to learn from and listen to? And you can use that on YouTube. Try and find something if that's what you decide to do. The second option you have of where to enroll or move from here, and what I would encourage from experience and what really helped me the most in my experience in my journey trading, because the first it was about 9 months. I was just trading independently, YouTube University, reading books, trying to figure it out on my own. That's what I was doing my first 9 months. And I saw a lot of progress. I wasn't seeing results. I wasn't making money in my first 9 months to a year, but I was seeing progress. I was learning. And what really was pivotal for me in my experience was joining a community of traders. And it's kind of like, you know how you go to school and you kind of have like your year, you got like first year, you know what I mean? Like you're with a whole bunch of first years and you kind of develop those relationships and those friendships. You're in the same program, whatever, health studies or psychology, French, whatever it is, Spanish, whatever. You kind of like get to know people in your field, in your focus in school. And so you start to develop these relationships and these friends. You can have these conversations with people that get your lingo. You try to talk to somebody in a different class or a different major, and it's like, you can have a good conversation about how exams suck and the profs or whatever, but you're not really going to be able to have conversation because maybe they're in a different major, right? Well, in trading, you can find a community of traders that you can surround yourself with, people that you can kind of learn the skill together with. And now you can start to look for communities. I mean, we have a community obviously here. I'm not saying to join our community. I mean, you can. We'd love to have you, and we'll see if it's a good fit. We're taking applications after this call, but I mean, find a community. Find something that you can plug into that will give you connections, that will give you those relationships and those connections to kind of have conversations that are beneficial and pushing you forward. So that's kind of option number two. Option number one, YouTube University, try and figure it out on your own. People have done that and made millions of dollars. Okay. Option two is you can find a community. You can find some like-minded individuals, people in the same space. People have done that usually more quickly to see results. People that choose to go that route usually are a little bit quicker in finding results because usually there will be mentors or educators or people in the community that are leading the community. See, leadership is one of the most powerful skills to learn just in general because you have to first lead yourself. Everybody here on this call, I believe, is a leader. Okay, whether you view yourself as a leader or not is kind of irrelevant. Maybe you're not leading a group of people, but you're leading yourself on this trading journey, right? You decided to be here for the boot camp. You decided to be here on the final day for this call. But leadership is a really important thing to consider as well, is who do you listen to and who's leading a group is another thing to consider. So maybe you decide to take the second option, which is finding a community, plugging into to some mentorship, right? And then the third route is instead of plugging into a community, you just decide to find one individual mentor and pay to learn from that person. And it's just one-on-one mentorship, one-on-one coaching. Kind of like how you get a personal trainer at the gym. You find that person, you pay them a bunch of money. Usually it's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, especially in the trading space, and you learn from them. But it's worth every dime. I mean, you're listening to somebody in a lot of cases, and again, who do you listen to is important, an important concept here. But ideally, it's somebody who's making hundreds of thousands of dollars trading, or at least a full-time income trading. And you don't just hear that from their mouth, but you really see that. Like it's not just oh yeah, I'm claiming this, I'm the guru online selling you, $5,000 package, but like you actually can see the results. You can feel the energy and the results from that person as well. So that's the third option. You can find a mentor, find somebody who meets that definition of has what you want, has been where you are, and then just pay to learn from them directly. So those are really the three options in leaving here is where do you want to enroll for the next steps of your journey? Do you want to go to, YouTube University, try and figure it out solo? Do you want to join a community where, you're getting to learn from different mentors in the community? You get to meet a lot of great people in the industry, whatever. In this case, it's trading, right? And then the third option is to find someone that will, give you one-to-one mentorship. That's usually the most expensive of the three options, is the one-to-one mentorship. And I'm sharing this because, these are the options that you have at the table to consider, right? And I'm not going to tell you what to do leaving this call. You can decide to do whatever you like. I will say from my experience, because I've done all three, I started on the YouTube University path, wasn't seeing great results, joined a community immediately when was offered an opportunity to. That's when the rubber really met the road for me in my journey. Now, I could be different than you, but the reason why it was so pivotal in my journey was I started to be able to surround myself with people that were on the same page, number one. And number two, there were people that had what I want, had been where I was in the community that I could learn from, and that really drastically reduced the learning curve. The amount of time that it took me to develop a foundation, kind of the same foundation that I laid out to you guys this week, it took me about 8 months independently to just get some of the basics that we covered this week in just 1 week. And then when I started to work with this community at the time, I was blown away because there was live sessions on a regular basis, trade ideas, different tools, I mean, amazing people, just great people, fantastic people, really cool connections. I remember that was the place where I really felt like I was at home, kind of. And it was weird. It was like almost like a family dynamic. It was like my trading family, my trading community, you know. It was a really cool experience. And that was where I saw some tremendously massive growth in a relatively short period of time. I learned more in a span of 3 months than I had the first 9 months of my experience just working with the community and with some mentors. And in the paid one-to-one mentorship side of things, I paid, to be honest, upwards of six figures in mentorship over the past 7 years. And you know, the one-to-one route is supportive, and it's beneficial. And I think you have to be at a certain point in your journey for it to really make sense because you gotta, in a lot of cases, you're paying thousands and thousands of dollars to these individuals, for one-to-one mentorship. So you kind of have to be at a certain stage in your journey where you actually have something to talk about. At this stage, for a lot of you, you're kind of still very early into your experience. So for you to be paying and maybe justify paying, I don't know, $1,000 for somebody to get on two one-on-one sessions with you, $500 a session, I mean, you're still at that stage where it's probably not going to be justifiable. Probably not. You could do it, and maybe it works very well for you guys. So those are really the three options that you have to consider leaving this call. Now, what I want to go over now and overview is Revolt Academy, kind of what we got going on. Whether you decide to make a decision to apply for membership, leaving today's call or not, it makes zero difference to me. I want to be very clear with that. This is a very welcoming community. We have a lot of really great people from all over the world. Some of you are already a part of the community if you're, on this call or watching the recording, which is great. And we also have a lot of folks that are seeing this for the first time. You're relatively new, right? So we are opening up applications and doing something kind of special to end off this boot camp week for those of you that are feeling in alignment with it. And we'll talk a little bit more about that once we've kind of overviewed, what all you can expect, what is kind of all at your fingertips here, and something to certainly consider in leaving this call and make a decision of whether or not this is for you, right? So we'll go ahead and we'll dive into this, and I'll give you guys kind of the thumbnail sketch, the overview of Revolt Academy. Now, obviously, everybody that's seen this, or at least the vast majority, have been on previous days of this boot camp and gotten some sort of value and enjoyed the process, while being a part of it. And this is really the tip of the tip of the tip of the iceberg when it comes to information, when it comes to the value inside of our community, which is Revolt or Revolt. And if you think about that word revolt, okay, the R on my hat is the Revolt logo. And the idea behind the word is to do something different to get a different result, to not have to go this 9 to 5 forever plan where it's working 40 hours a week for 40 years of your life to retire on 40% of your income because the other 60% went to taxes in Canada being, not the best place for taxes. And, you might be like, oh, I'm not Canadian. Well, guess what? You're probably still paying pretty high taxes, especially if you're in the US or Canada. And if you're outside of the US and Canada, maybe you're, living a 40-40 something plan, 30, 40-40-30 plan, or whatever it is, 40-40-50 plan. But working 40 hours a week for 40, years of your life to retire on 40, 40% of your income or whatever the number might be. For me, that's not what I wanted to do personally. And so Revolt and this brand of what we put together, it was myself and a number of business partners. This is not my idea. The whole branding and everything of Revolt was actually a really good friend and business partner of mine, Tommy, who's not on this call today, but you'll get to meet inside the community should you decide to apply for membership. And the whole idea was to bring a number of different high income skills that you can learn online to set yourself free in terms of location, set yourself free in terms of finances, and really be able to work towards living that dream life. And again, the whole idea behind the word revolt is doing something different to get a different result. Going against the grain is the definition. So that's where the idea of Revolt Academy came from. Now we have a partnership with Jifu, which is the platform and the portal that I personally educate within. And because we're strategically partnered, you actually get access to both if you were to decide to apply for membership. So I'll show you guys kind of what's included, what that looks like, and I'll start by giving you the overview, and then we'll actually go into it visually so you guys can kind of see it a little bit more clearly. And I'll pull my screen up and we'll go into it. But really, there's three different pillars. So write this down. There's three pillars to what we do inside of Revolt. Three pillars. Okay, three pillars. So for you graduating from boot camp this week, these are the three pillars you have to look forward to should you decide to apply for, Revolt Academy. So pillar number one is learning. All right. You're going to continue to learn the ropes, the skills, the mindset, the discipline, everything that you need. The whole A to Z process is what you have access to inside the learning. Now, what's cool is that you're not just learning one high income skill. You can learn a variety of high income skills, all of which are online, some of which are in person, but most of them are online. And there's a lot of opportunity outside of just what we talked about this week with trading for you to make an extra stream of income online. Now, obviously, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about all of what we have because today is just about trading. But just understand you have access to more than just trading. You got crypto, you've got e-commerce, monetizing social media, turning your social media like your Instagram, your TikTok into a money printer from brand deals, partnerships, affiliate marketing. Okay. You also have, different tools and resources when it comes to finances, expense tracking, really keeping your financial situation under control and knowing the score. Okay. These are different things you can learn inside the community. Now, the way you're learning, maybe put this underneath pillar number one for learning, is you have pre-recorded content. So there's all kinds of course content you have access to, beginner, intermediate, advanced. You've got live sessions, multiple live sessions almost every single weekday. Actually, yeah, literally every single weekday. Weekends, I believe there is fewer live sessions to tune in on, but perfect time to, you know, go back and do some more studying, watch some recordings. Okay. So you got pre-recorded content, you got live sessions, as well as all the live recordings. So you can go through a whole plethora of material and content inside the community. In fact, I have personally just hundreds of hours of recordings from my trainings specifically, and it's a whole vault that you have access to inside the community. So it's really cool. So that's pillar number one. Pillar number two, and I'll give you guys a visual of all of this right after we're done overviewing it. Pillar number two is the earning side of things. So first pillar is learning. Second pillar is earning. Okay. Obviously, the goal is for you guys to be making income doing this. Now, there's different ways you can earn while you're learning. And this is, I think, a really unique opportunity that I wish I had when I first started. And that's why we've kind of put this all together. I was thinking to myself, Tommy was thinking to himself, how can we give people what we wanted when we first started now for the newest person starting out in this space? And I was like, well, man, I would have loved to make money my first 9 months to a year doing this. And I didn't because I didn't know what I was doing. I was doing it independently and I didn't have an expert or somebody that was supporting me in the process, giving me trade ideas, for example. So that's one of the ways you can earn is trade ideas, right? For those of you that were here on yesterday's session, NZD-USD was a great trade idea. So there's opportunities for you to be earning and learning at the same time. This, unlike traditional education, will eliminate you having to finish your degree or get through your first 2 years of schooling before you can then start getting paid in your field, whatever the amount of years is. I know it's, different for every program. But earning while you're learning is a really exciting part of the community. Now, the first way you do that is trade ideas. The second way you do that is you can actually share what we have and get compensated for doing so. Now, we're sharing things all the time. If you think about it, if you go to a good restaurant, for example, I went to the Mandarin tonight for Father's Day. It was a late Father's Day. I was traveling, over the past 3 months. So got to take my pops to Mandarin. It's one of his favorite spots. We're eating the sushi, all these different really good foods, pizza. Well, I didn't have any pizza, but the pizza was there, right? They got everything at Mandarin. All the Asian foods, Asian cuisine. You got the American cuisine, whatever. It was really good food. It was great food. So you go to a great restaurant. Okay, maybe you go to a new one you've never been to before. I've been to Mandarin a lot of times. What do you do? If you really enjoy the experience, you're going to talk about it. You're just, yeah, this was really good food. You should go and check out the restaurant. So we're referring people to things all the time. And obviously, we're not getting compensated for it. If I tell somebody to go to Mandarin, if you've never been to Mandarin, definitely check it out. If you go to Mandarin, I don't make a dime off that. And I'm just sharing it because it's good food and it's worth the experience, right? Well, here, you can share and talk about the community. And if you really are passionate about what we have going on here, I mean, you can share this thing at a very high level and actually get paid thousands of dollars a month to share what we have here. Now, it's optional. Of course, you don't have to talk about it. You could just lock in, trade, have a good time, jump on the live sessions, make money, and all that. But chances are you will talk about it because you're something you're excited about. You're making money online. You're seeing the value. Of course, you're going to talk about something you're passionate about and you're enjoying, right? So you can actually earn inside the community at the same time as you're learning just by sharing this thing as an ambassador. Totally optional. You don't have to do it. But the way I look at it is you can share this thing, share the opportunity, get paid to do so, and put that money towards your trading. It's another stream of income you can start putting towards your trading account, your experience. So that's pillar number two. First pillar is learning. Second pillar is earning. The third pillar is events. Okay. Events. Now, this is where the rubber really meets the road in your experience. Now, I want you guys to put like an asterisk beside events because this is the one thing that all other options, YouTube University, community, paid one-to-one mentorship, those are really the three options you have to weigh leaving this call and where you go from here. This is the one thing that's missing from all other options, okay, is the events aspect of it. We host events on a very regular basis, in-person events all around the world. And you have the opportunity to attend these events in person and hear from people that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars, in some cases, monthly. For example, we just went to an event in Germany not too long ago. Myself and a whole bunch of us on the team and community, we flew out to Germany, Munich, Germany. First time in Germany. It was good time. Um, and we're in this room, and there's thousands of people in this room. I mean, just insane numbers. Like people from North America, you got people from Asia, you got people from Oceania, you got people from South America, all over the place. Europe, of course, tons of Europeans there, tons. I mean, it was insane. Thousands of people. I think there was about 5,000 people at this event. And that event was transformational because you're in a room where you're seeing the highest level of success on stage, giving you the game plan on how they did it, on how they went from where you currently are or some similar situation to making $100,000 a month at the age of 25, at the ages of 30. I mean, it was insane. One of the individuals specifically that spoke on that stage, his name was Chris Katanos. This guy's my age, 25 years old. He just hit $100,000 a month that he's making residually every single month at the age of 25. It's insane. 1.2 million at 25 years old annually is like incredible level of success. I mean, that is a really, really big statement. We got people that are 18, 19, 20 years old making $5,000, $10,000 a month. I mean, that is huge when you take a look at it and you compare it to most 18, 19, 20-year-olds in this day and age. And that's the opportunity you have with obviously trading and investing and everything we got going on here. But the point is, and the reason I'm sharing this is you get to hear from these people on stage in real time, in person. There's something different about in person. And I'm going to be honest, the first event I ever went to, which was back in September 2019, I was in that room, had never made more than $1,000 in a month from trading. In fact, I think I was losing thousands of dollars still at this stage when I first went because I didn't know what I was doing, right? And I remember being in that room and hearing from people on that stage and getting to shake hands with people that are making just incredible money and just at really high levels of success. And money is not the end all be all. It's just what money buys. It's the things you can do with that money, right? But really seeing the most successful people on stage. I remember seeing this one individual, it's kind of funny, on stage speaking, and I'm like, man, how is this person making $50,000 a month? This is a goof on stage. And I'm thinking this in my head. I was getting pissed off. I was like, I am way more qualified. I look better. And I'm having this like flash judgment. I'm like, this guy's making me angry. $50,000 a month earner on stage. Why am I not on stage making $50,000 a month? It actually pissed me off for greatness. And I left that event and went to the highest level I'd ever been in terms of success and in trading and just in digital entrepreneurship as a whole. I remember I had my first $2,000 a month about 60 days after that. And from there was in a position where I was really just seeing some intent, some incredible results, made the decision to drop out of school and pursue this full time later that year in November 2019. And so events is the third pillar of revolts and what we have going on here. So you have got, number one is learning. Number two, you drop the L, you start earning. Okay. And you're earning and learning at the same time. And pillar number three is events. Okay. This is where you can really get inspired. Your level of belief goes through the roof of what's possible. And the networking of, with the people that are at these events is really, really powerful. Have you guys heard that statement? Your net worth is your net worth is your network, or your network is your net worth, or whatever it is. That is facts. I've seen it. You are the average of the five people you spend the most amount of time with, average income, average just in general, personality, whatever. These events and these in-person gatherings are something you have an opportunity to be a part of on a regular basis. For example, I know we got people on this call from Calgary. I know we got people on this call from Nebraska, which is, in the States. We got people on this call from different parts of the world. And chances are there are in-person events happening on a regular basis close to you, if not in the exact same city as you right now. So there's a lot of opportunity to get around like-minded people, get in person, and get to learn from some of these individuals who've been doing this for years. And that's a really powerful element of what's involved with the community and included in community and inside the community of Revolt. So let's go into the actual visuals of kind of what we just covered. So number one, okay, with our strategic partnership, GFU Live, this is where a lot of the education takes place. Now, notice you got Forex, crypto, e-com, social media, like I mentioned, finance, mindset. There's all kinds of different places you can go and kind of immerse yourself in education, pre-recorded content, live sessions. You'll notice we got, for example, beginner modules. So for a lot of you that decide to apply for membership after this, the first videos you're going to go through once you get started here is the beginner modules. So going through and learning and kind of re-solidifying some of the understanding that we covered today, but even taking it a step deeper, like really the anatomy of a candlestick. That's the first video here that you're going to go through. This is a great video. Okay, these ones, currency pairs, pips, okay, another overview of pips, trading sessions, trend lines, support and resistance, types of orders. Okay, this is really the A to Z basics to lay that foundation and really hammer home the cornerstones of your foundation so you can build upon them to really get towards your level of success that you're looking for. Now, write this quote down. It's one of my favorite quotes. You can only build as high as your foundation is deep. You can only build as high as your foundation is deep. So make sure you have that foundation. And this is the best place to lay that foundation, at least in terms of the Revolt community and our partnership with GFU. It's got beginner, intermediate modules, all that good stuff. You got the live session calendar. So myself, this is me on the calendar. And we have, many other educators that are audited on a regular basis to make sure They're not just talking the talk, but actually have the receipts to back what they're talking about. And that is a huge benefit of this community. Nobody is on this platform educating if they've made less than six figures in the trading space. All right. There is a very, very high standard when it comes to who is educating on the platform. And so we have the Avengers assembled on the platform. The platform as a whole, GFU educates about 60,000 people worldwide. And so you really have the best of the best. This is like learning from the Ronaldos, the Cristiano Ronaldos, the Wayne Gretzky's, okay, for my hockey fans on here. This is the best place to learn when it comes to the live sessions and really getting to a high level of success using that information that they're sharing on that side of things. Now that's the learning pillar. The earning side of things is done from, of course, the trading apps that you guys already have set up, but also we showed it yesterday. The GFU Connect app is where the trade ideas are coming through, where you're literally getting handed to you on a silver platter, different opportunities for you to start earning while you're learning. Okay, that's one of the places that earning takes place. And again, you do have the opportunity to earn in other industries aside from trading. Plus, there's the opportunity for you to share this thing and get paid to do so as an ambassador, should you decide to do that. It's completely optional, but should you decide to do that, you have access to that as well. Now, the events. I want to show you guys one of the major events that we're hosting in collaboration with GFU, and it's going to actually be in Lisbon, Portugal. This is like a major event. Okay, we do a lot of, kind of smaller events. We do some regional events, but this is a major event, what's called a major event in Lisbon, Portugal in April of 2026. So check out this video. I'm going to play this video, and you guys are going to get a feeling, or get a feel, I should say, for the energy and just how phenomenal these types of in-person events really are. So let's go ahead and play this clip. So, I mean, that gets me fired up. Quick little 50-second snippet, but that's one of the more major events. And there were some clips in there from Munich, Germany, the event that we were just at earlier this year. And this is a major, major event. There's going to be, I think there's around 700, or no, sorry, 7,500 capacity. So there's going to be people from all over the world. You're going to be meeting literally the best of the best in the industry. There's going to be special guest keynotes and speakers, people that you really have to lean into and learn from, both virtually on the platform, but also in person. Getting to get those, connections in person is a really, really powerful experience. So obviously, you can consider this as a great opportunity for an in-person event. But in addition to that, we do a lot of other stuff regionally in different cities, kind of all around the world. So, more intimate events, right? This is a very major one that we're going to be hosting and in collaboration with GFU on in Lisbon, Portugal. So that's going to be in 2026. Super excited for it. That's like, we're talking about it almost, what is this? I guess 8 months out, and we're already fired up talking about it because it's going to be an honestly pivotal event in, a lot of people's experiences for whoever makes the decision to fly out to Portugal for that event. So yeah, it's going to be an unreal experience for sure. So that's I mean really the three pillars, the tip of the iceberg, and kind of overviewing. You got the learning, the earning, and the events. So Revolts Academy, I would say what we have is kind of a mix of the last two options that we went over at the beginning of this kind of overview. So you got YouTube University, kind of learning for free, you got communities, and you got paid one-to-one mentorship. I would say we're kind of in the middle of number two and three, because the community, obviously, we have a great community, Telegram, group chats, in person, all that good stuff. But there's also a lot of opportunity for you to be plugging in with myself on a regular basis. And that's something that's just included in the community. It's not like you're paying me 250 bucks for, a one-to-one session or something like that, okay? Or 500 bucks, 1,000 bucks, whatever it is. That's just included in the community. We do calls on a regular basis, and we have a call schedule that's set in stone to give you that structure of what to expect week over week when it comes to training. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys probably have this question in the back of your mind. You're like, okay, Donnie, this is great. It looks cool. I really want to be a part of this. Really want to hear what it looks like to become a member. And like I said, applications are going to be opening at the end of this call. And so what I mean by that is, we take a select type of person inside the community. Now, there's not, we're not limiting who can apply. But there is a certain list of criteria of what we're looking for in terms of who we're working with. So, take note of this and we'll kind of go from there in wrapping up the call for whether you decide to apply to be a part of the community. But number one is you're just teachable and coachable. Like you actually have the desire to learn this skill and you actually want to see results. Because here's the cool thing about this community and this opportunity that we're going to give you guys tonight. And this is like, we haven't done something like this ever before inside of our partnership with G Fu. And it's literally perfect timing for the end of this boot camp, to be honest, because we just released this today. But teachable and coachable, that's the first criteria of kind of who we're looking for to be a part of the community. Number two is you actually have intrinsic motivation to grow. You are actually desiring to become a better person, the version of yourself that you are right now. There's nothing wrong with you right now. You're great. But you actually have a desire to grow. Okay. And that kind of goes hand in hand with teachable and coachable, but it is separate. You have to have that intrinsic desire to get better as an individual, to grow, to learn the skill of trading, yes, but also just to become a better version of yourself is criteria number two. And number three, you obviously have to be willing to invest in your education, into yourself, and into the community. This community isn't free, right? It's not a free community. This boot camp and the free trial that we had for this week. Obviously, we did this for free. We didn't have to. We wanted to give you guys the opportunity to lay a foundation. And whether you decide to apply or not after this, I'm wishing you all nothing but the best in your journey in trading. But obviously, you have to be willing to invest in yourself. So those are the main criteria that we're looking for in the applicants when it comes to accepting, okay, who's the newest member of the community going to be? Number one, teachable and coachable. Number two, an intrinsic desire to actually grow and get better. So really the motivation is there. And then number three, you have to be willing to invest in yourself, invest in your learning, invest to be in part of to be a part of the community and get access to everything that we've overviewed on today's call, kind of the thumbnail sketch again. So let's talk about what that looks like so that we can make sure that the right people are applying and in terms of the price point of what it looks like to be a part of the community. Now, normally, I'm going to write this out for you guys on the whiteboard. I think you can do the whiteboard. How does this work? Whiteboard. Okay, cool. Let's pull this up real quick. Can you guys see my whiteboard? Drop a three in the chat if you can. My little smiley face. Okay, perfect. Lots of threes in the chat. Excellent. So I'm going to talk about the normal kind of price point and what it looks like to be a part of the community. Now, obviously, this is something, like I said, you guys are kind of lucky. We didn't even plan this. It just ended up working out this way. We're doing something special literally today, leaving this boot camp. You guys have an opportunity to kind of get started for a really, really good price, to be honest. But the price point, let's talk about it. Okay. It's not $5,000. It's not $10,000. It's not something that's going to cost you an arm and a leg to be a part of, which I think is something that we were very intentional about when it came to who we wanted to partner with. With Gifu, obviously, we were considering our options and who we wanted to work with, most closely and what would be the most reasonable for you guys. And so the price point to get started, this is a month-to-month access. Okay, you're not locked in for a term. It's completely month-to-month, pause, renew, whenever you'd like. Okay. Obviously, you want to make the commitment to be a part of this thing and do this on a regular basis, right? Should you decide to go this route. But it's $299 initial, and this is in US dollars, and then 165, or sorry, 185 monthly. So that is the usual starting point. Now I say usual because this is normally what it costs, but we're doing I guess you could say a promotion right now. Again, this is something that was just announced literally earlier today, so just perfect timing for you guys. But this is normally the price point. So 299 initial, 185 a month. Now, what does that give you? Everything that I covered today, that's included inside the price point, with the exception of the Portugal event. That is something you have to buy a ticket for. But as a member, you have access to the event. You just got to pay to be there. And aside from that, everything else is included. All the other miniature events that we do, some of them are paid, some of them aren't. But most of them, when it's just getting together with people, a part of the community, there's no cost associated with that. And everything else is included. The trade ideas, the education, the live sessions, the in-person get-togethers when they're in a more intimate setting, completely included. You get to literally learn from people that are already making hundreds of thousands of dollars in this industry for pennies on the dollar in the grand scheme of things. Like I know people that actually I've shown this to people that are in the industry and they're like, why are you guys charging so little for so much? I mean, it's just insane. You guys could literally charge $500 a month for this and people would willingly pay for this. And the response that I always give people is, yeah, but we don't really care to make a ton of money sharing this opportunity because we're already trading. We're already doing this at a high level. The intention is to share this to somebody else and just make a positive impact. That's where the fulfillment comes in this whole opportunity is being able to share it and positively impact somebody's life, right? And kindly don't draw on the whiteboard. I keep seeing you guys doodling. But 299 initial, 185 a month. Now for today, okay, there is a promotion that you guys can take advantage of to, get started. Obviously, you have to apply to get started. But the price point initially is being chopped down $75. So it's literally 225 initial, 185 a month. This is for today. And to my knowledge, this is actually something that is going beyond today, but I wouldn't encourage you to wait around on the opportunity. Just make the decision whether you want to apply or not. If you do, perfect. Apply today so we can get you this promo today. And to my knowledge, this promo is, let me actually see, it's for the next 10 days. Yeah, the next 10 days, but I would say don't wait to make your decision. Get your questions answered as soon as you can, apply and of course take advantage of that discount. So you can literally get started for 225, 185 a month. That's everything included. Trade ideas, education, live sessions, all that good stuff. So again, you have to apply to become a part of the community. We're not just going to accept you because you have the 225 to start and 185 a month. Okay. And the reason I say that is we're not just looking for anybody. We want to make sure you're teachable. We want to make sure you're coachable. Are you actually somebody that has the desire to do this? And if so, cool. And you're willing to invest in yourself? Perfect. Let's work, right? We are incentivized. I want to be very clear on something too. If you're already in GFU, then you're good to go. Perfect. You're in a good spot. All right, but I want to share something with you guys real quick. And here we go. I think I stopped the sharing of the whiteboard. But what I want to share with you guys is this, okay? Leaving today's call, whatever decision you decide to make makes no difference to me. All right, you can decide to, apply for membership. If you get accepted, great. I'll look forward to seeing you in the community. But it ultimately makes no difference to me. It makes no difference to whoever invited you to this free trial or boot camp. The whole purpose of this boot camp was to give you information and the tools to tangibly start to be able in the markets, kind of from a perspective of laying that foundation, or at least the thumbnail sketch of the foundation, to then move forward, leaving this call and continue your journey if you see fit. Now, to be a part of the community for the price point is, I mean, the value is there. If you guys thought this whole week was valuable, this is like the tip of the iceberg when you compare it to the community. And I'll be honest, like I said before, I've invested multiple, I guess at this point, it would have, yeah, I think we're reaching close to $150,000 I've invested into myself in terms of mentorship over the years. And I paid for high ticket courses. I paid for one-to-one mentorship. And the whole purpose of us creating this opportunity for you guys was number one, how can we give them the most value for the best price point? And number two, what would we want if we were to go back to when we first started? What would we be looking for? And that's when we came up with this. Oh, and by the way, you actually get a free vacation voucher for making the decision to get started today. With GFU, they have an amazing travel portal. It's just kind of the cherry on top of everything. In addition to learning high income skills, there's some other benefits that GFU has we didn't talk about today, but there's a lot of really good stuff. And you actually get a free vacation for you and up to three other people on the house. Now you got to pay resort fees and you got to pay for your flight to get over there, but they'll literally give you a free vacation at a destination of your choosing. You got to email and see availability and stuff, but it's a really good opportunity as well. So you'll literally just get a vacation voucher should you decide to use it or not, doesn't matter, but it's kind of just the cherry on top of making the decision to get started. So that's pretty much it. Now, I did mention before you could share this thing and get paid to do so. You can actually get this thing for free and not be paying 185 a month. And that is if you were to go out there and refer four people to the platform, you're on scholarship, not paying the monthly dues, enjoy the value, enjoy the free trade ideas, and put that 185 a month into your trading account. All right, totally optional. You don't have to do it, but hey, great opportunity to get this thing for free. And then if you decide to go beyond that and become an ambassador officially, you can actually get paid to share this thing, which is really, really cool. So with that being said, I mean, there's really three types of people on this call in leaving this call because we're about to wrap things up. Person number one is like, Donnie, shut up. I'm ready to get my application in and see if I'm a good fit for the community and get started. That's person number one. You're just like, Donnie, you've been talking all week, man. You got a great voice. I'm looking forward to learning from you. But for now, please, I'm ready to go. Okay. That's person number one. Person number two is liking what they're seeing and seeing this as potentially the best opportunity or best option of the three: YouTube University, community, paid one-to-one mentorship, whatever. They might be seeing this as the right option for them leaving this call, but they have a couple questions. They want to see some more information. They want to check out a little bit more, get their questions answered before getting started. If that's you, perfect. Get your questions answered, see if this is the right move, make that application, and then from there, if you get accepted, we'll look forward to seeing you in the community. Person number three is maybe in a position where this just is it's not resonating, And I want you guys to think about it. If you are a person number three right now, and the price point is what's deterring you, and you're like, man, I don't know if I can do 185 a month. I got other expenses, other stuff going on, whatever. I totally feel you. And what I would share with you is what I found when I first joined my first trading community is I was looking at it like an expense, not an investment that was going to actually pay me a return. And that's really what this is. You're paying 185 a month, but that 185 a month is meant to be invested into skills that are ultimately going to be paying for themselves and beyond. That's the whole point of learning this skill is to make money, right? So don't look at it like an expense, look at it like an investment, something that's going to be giving you an ROI. And if you're also person number three, maybe you're thinking, man, I don't know if I have the time for this. This looks like a great opportunity, but I'm working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. I got a kid at home. I got, all kinds of stuff going on. And if that's you, that's why the trade ideas are so great and would work perfectly for you if you're in that situation because you can get paid while you're learning the process in your own time. Even if you're super busy, you get a notification on your phone, hey, trade idea, boom, bing, bang, boom. You can take that trade while you're out and about at work on a date. Okay. Maybe don't take it at the table, but be like, excuse me, go to the washroom, take the trade, come back to your day. Okay. Whatever it is. But if you're super busy and you feel like you don't have the time for this, that's why the trade ideas are so perfect for you. And also the AI scanners as well, because they'll give you those trade ideas for you to take action on, even if you don't have a ton of time to be on the charts yourself. That's the beautiful thing about that for, people that are super busy. Okay. And then maybe the other type of person number three or person number three is like this looks cool, but I don't know if I can do this. Like I don't know if trading is for me. I don't know if I'm capable. And I want to tell you guys, you are 100% capable of doing everything I've done in a shorter period of time, plus more. Like you are fully capable. Okay. If you can copy and paste some numbers, if you can jump onto some live sessions when you're free or watch some recordings, you can do this thing. I promise you, you can do this thing. It's just about making the decision. Okay, so that's really the types of people on this call. Person number one, ready to get started, ready to apply. Person number two has some questions. Get those questions answered leaving this call. Absolutely crucial that you get those questions answered. Then make your decision. Do you want to apply or not? Person number three kind of has this like doubt in whether or not they can do this. I promise you, if there's a will, there's a way. It's just a matter of making the decision. And so, with that being said, in leaving this call, applications are now open. Okay. And leaving this call, applications are open. What I would encourage you to do to be the quickest to apply is reach back out to the person that got you started, let them know what you liked best about this whole week, and say, I'd like to jump on a call to get started. All right, to have that conversation, see if you are in fact going to be a good fit. We'll make sure that you're connected on that call with whoever your connection is, plus maybe a mentor or myself or whoever, to see if it's going to be a good fit and ultimately support you in getting set up and then give you the next steps for over the weekend. It's the weekend, starting, well, really tonight. So it's like use that time to bang out as much as you can for the next trading week, right? So that's what I would say to get your applications in, reach back out to the person that invited you to the boot camp, and applications are now open. If you don't have somebody to reach out to, okay, maybe you were invited by me, for example. Obviously, you can reach out to me. My Instagram, I just put it in the chat and I'll pull it up on screen. This is where you guys can touch base with me, connect with me, and we can keep in touch after this, boot camp and free trial as well. So, yeah, with that being said, I mean, that is everything for this boot camp, for this free trial. And if you're like, man, I'm just excited to learn how to take my own trades and get more refined and, really dial in at another level, I'm looking forward to reading your applications, getting to hear from you guys for your verbal applications in some cases, and looking forward to seeing you all on the inside as well. So, with that being said, reach back out to whoever invited you for this week. Get your questions answered if you have them before applying. And I'm looking forward to seeing y'all on the inside. Much love, fam. Peace out.